could turn the clock back. Thoughts are things. If you go to work every day and you're on this highway, I hate my job. I hate all those losers in the office. Oh my God, this is terrible. Guess what? God, or your subconscious, whatever name you want to give it, I don't care, is going to make sure you are going to either blow up a tire, roll your car, or break your neck. Because you have unconsciously made a wish. The wish not to see these people, not to do this work. So your subconscious does not know the difference between the wish or the fear. And that's why it's so very important not to let yourself being deceived by always being negative. You have two forces, up and down, black and white, the front, the back, God, devil, yin and yang, the front, the back, male, female. You couldn't have a God if you didn't have the devil. Use common sense. It's simple. You have your will, the part of God in you, or your will is so much stronger than anything. But why not work with the light? Why not work with happiness and love and joy? You are generating energy that way. And a magnet will not attract a piece of wood, common sense. If you are into health, and your partner is not into health, if you like nature, going fishing, boating, and your partner likes football, that's going to create conflicts. There is such a thing as karma to pay. Let me tell you how powerful the thought really is. When I was a kid, Mom and Dad was always... My dad died, I was only 11 years old. My stepfather jumped in, and of course, talking about an Aries and a Scorpio. Yeah. And there I was, and I used to say to them, is there any way you guys could communicate, as adults? For a very, very young age, I started to think a little bit farther than other people. I was wondering, why are people like me? Why? And of course, they didn't listen to me. They didn't know better. Because, emotion will always override your logic. It's just part of the laws. Okay? Because you associate things with people. It's just the way it is. And that you assume. So, one day I went to bed, upset. And then I woke up in the morning and I had some very serious discharge coming from my ears. And I was, what's that? And it was very painful. So I talked to Mom. Mom come upstairs in the attic. That was my bedroom in those days. And she says, oh my gosh, what's this? She took me to the doctor. The doctor looked at me and he stuffed my little butt with 8,000 units of penicillin trying to stop the infection for weeks. Nothing worked. I was in the emergency room. I was in the hospital. And then finally the doctor says, well, it doesn't react to anything we have. So the diagnostic is he's got some serious infection in his brain. And the prognostic is going to die, and he probably has another week or two. Going to get blind or whatever. My mom was just freaking out. So he says, do you want to bring him back home, or do you want to leave him here? She says, no, I'm going to take it home, But as much as she loved me, she didn't want me to die with my 7 other brothers and sisters, so she stuck me to Grandma in a farm. Guess what? Grandma never, ever raises her voice. So I was able to hear the birds, the wind in the trees, the river running around. And she was always speaking words of love and then giving me, touching my face and saying to me, you were going to be just fine, my son. You'll be just okay. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I am much better inside of me. And as a child, there is no filter. When you're a child, you have absolutely no filter between you and your subconscious. So your subconscious, or God again, is going to give it to you right away. I was making a wish not to hear my parents. Periods. What happened? Oh, God, my subconscious started to answer me. Okay, we're going to give you some little problem. We're going to make sure your ears don't work anymore. Okay, we're going to make you impaired. So I was making a wish. That's why it's so very important. If you have kids, not to scream, not to do anything, because in their world everything is so big. Have you ever been back to the house you were raised, or to the room where you grew up when you were a teenager? If you ever go back to this place, everything will be so tiny, so small. However, when you go in the street and you look outside, everything was big, and so were your parents and their words. This lady came to me the other day. She says, Dr. Turi, I'm going to die. I'm very scared. Could you please tell me what's afterwards? So they said, okay, sit down, relax. What's your problem? She said, well, I have cancer. They said, oh, I'm so sorry. And obviously it was on the abdomen. She had, big bunch of negative energy surrounding her abdomen. So I never assume, I never believe any of my patients or students until I check them up. I check their UCI, which stands for Unique Celestial Identity, using a software that I designed with Allen Software in Los Angeles. I look at that lady, and I put her in a very gentle trance, like I'm going to do with you later on. And I said to her, just tell me the most happy things that ever happened to you. Because, of course, she and you do not know at that point that much of the biggest problem and disease are coming from blockage. So she tells me, oh my gosh, my biggest wish, Dr. Turi, is for my boyfriend to give me a child. You know what? I can see myself with him. I love him so much, and we are so happy. And then she was really into it, and I let her talk, and you could see her face being so happy. And then I can see that baby, and I can see that I'm going to be such a good mom. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I said, okay. Now tell me what's the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Now you should have seen her face, literally, from positive and happy. You could see the stress, the problem, the anxiety, the pain, the suffering the poor lady was going through. And she started to cry. And she says, he dropped me. I would never have his child. Immediately, I knew what was happening. She was making a subconscious wish to see herself getting pregnant. The subconscious will do absolutely anything. It will trick you. It will bring you a cancer. If you're stressed in a situation for too long, you're making a wish not to be there. It's going to reward you because it doesn't think. Again, remember, your subconscious is like God. It's going to kill innocent babies in an earthquake or a volcano eruption or a tornado. It doesn't care. So I realized what she was doing to herself. And I told her, we're going to do a Kabbalistic healing on you, and then I want you to go to the hospital. I have you checked because you say it's cancer, you haven't been checked. It is not cancers. What you have is a building of fat. That's the only way she could understand the terminology of an ailment. And that is no cancers. That can be removed and you'll be just fine. Another win. You have to be very, very cautious with your subconscious because he doesn't forgive. And you have to be able to listen to the omens. All that I teach in my book, Beyond the Secret, by the way. If somebody says to you, oh, I'm into health and I'm a very clean person. Oh yeah, I'm really, really clean, I'm exaggerating so you understand. Very often, people, what they said and what they do will tell you a little bit more about what's going on inside. Be observant of the omens because your subconscious is always there. If you said, my gosh, I can't believe it. Anytime I look at my clock, it's 11:11. Why? Because you have stimulated the power to make sure your subconscious puts you to look at that clock when it's 11:11 or wake